Good morning, friends. Welcome back. Today I'd like to talk to you about the siblings. It is not easy being the sibling. Now, I don't know how that feels. I did talk to my biological daughter this morning and asked her a few questions. It is absolutely very hard and actually very traumatic for these other normal children in the home who are having to live with the drama of RAD. I asked her what her biggest complaint was, and she said that it was the fighting in the home. Our RAD daughter would create fights in the home, and it pleased her. The other children were often noticing she would smile. If she stirred up a fight and caused a fight in the home, she would sit back, her work was done, and literally smile about it. What it comes down to is they weren't feeling safe in their own home because there was always fighting, always issues, always trauma. Something that she did point out to me was how depressed she felt when she lived here. So let me back up. When I moved here, my two biological children, my daughter was 16 at that time, and my son was 11. And my stepdaughter, who did not have any diagnosis at that time, was 8. We just thought she was struggling to adapt to these other kids in her house, to this new family that was moving in on her territory, and we really tried to make things go smooth. My daughter in particular was very excited about having a sister and was just really wanting that sister bond. But she said that the fighting was so overwhelming and constant. She said we couldn't just be a normal family and do normal family things together. There was always something that came up to ruin that and to cause some sort of commotion. She's right. Looking back on it, we couldn't even go to the lake to have a picnic and spend the day swimming and having, play horseshoes or frisbee or take a hike, whatever we chose to do that day as a family. Some sort of drama was always stirred up. There was always something to distract us from being a family and enjoying our time together. Being the parent, I never really thought about that. How she described it to me definitely made me remember when I was a child how excited I felt when an adult would do something with me or my sister or my sibling or my cousins. We all grew up like siblings. So when one of the adults would do something with one of us kids, it was so fun to swim with us or play a game with us or do something at play, take turns riding on a motorcycle together. It was so fun and it was so exciting, and it was a connection. You made a connection when they took the time and showed that they wanted to spend time with you. It was exciting and it was fun. And I hadn't never thought of that. I never thought of that until my daughter brought it up. All of that was stolen from them because of the drama, the chaos. They couldn't enjoy swimming with us adults. They couldn't enjoy hiking or playing frisbee or horseshoes or badminton or whatever those things or just to sit and have our picnic by the river. All of those bonding things were stolen because of chaos. I never realized it at the time. She said that she felt very depressed oftentimes. And she pointed out to me that because she is an adult now with her own child, that as a teenager, her brain had not been developed enough to recognize this isn't going to be forever. This is just a temporary situation. It's not forever going to be like this. In her mind, it was forever. And as an adult, we're capable of recognizing we'll find some sort of solution. It doesn't have to stay this way. We're going to figure something out. Because as the parent, we were seeing things from our own view, trying to find a solution, trying to fix this, trying to quiet that chaos. I wasn't thinking about how are my biological children dealing with this, because it was traumatic for them. The triangulation was extreme. My husband did not believe there was anything wrong with his daughter. He knew that she was different and bossy and opinionated and defiant. He knew those things, but he didn't know there was a mental illness involved. And that's a hard pill to swallow, especially when it's your biological child, which will be an upcoming video. That's been requested by another rad mom. As far as being a sibling of, there are a lot of different feelings that are just as traumatic that they're dealing with that as a parent you're not really thinking about. I wish I could go back in time. There would be so many things that I would do differently, but I can't. I can't go back in time, but I can tell you, so you know. And that's really, if I can help you, if I can make you aware of just one thing, that makes me feel better. My biological daughter said that the stress and the depression were so overwhelming that she oftentimes thought about suicide. And she said that a lot of teenagers actually are thinking about that because that's the solution in their mind. And these situations are extremely traumatic for them. For a rad parent, you are looking at it from a parent's viewpoint. For these siblings, you are looking at the sibling as your equal, your equals, your peer, and you're constantly being betrayed by them. Siblings really will stick together, and even when it comes to their parents, my sister and I do that. We have a bond, and if either one of us says, this is just between me and you, don't tell mom, that's where it's at. We have a bond and we have an alliance. Even when it comes to our parents, we have an alliance with each other. That's what these children are missing. They are constantly being betrayed by someone they're supposed to have an alliance with. I did ask my daughter if she could tell other siblings out there who are dealing with a rad brother or sister, if she could just tell them one thing, what would she tell them? She said, don't give them your full trust because you will be hurt. That they don't care about your feelings. Even if they keep telling you they do, they don't. She also said that it's better to have a neutral relationship with them that's basically coexisting and not going to an extreme either way, fully trusting them and feeding their narcissism or feeding that it's all about me, but also not going to the other extreme by being mean to them and ignoring them or picking on them, or they actually like that. They like to be the victim, and they actually enjoy being that victim, and that can just fuel them even more. So her advice was to have a neutral relationship with them and not put your full trust in them, and not to expect them to be honest and have a truthful relationship with you. So oftentimes what the the siblings are going through is a lot of frustration, a lot of inner anger and trauma of their own. And if these non-RAD siblings are younger than RAD, they're actually learning some of these behaviors, and it's being downloaded in their brains that are still developing as normal. Think back to your own childhood. I can look at mine and I can see quite a few things that were not normal that I thought was. I thought that was just normal behavior. I thought all families did that or acted like that. They are developing mental illnesses of their own, and as adults they are often struggling and going to therapists on their own because of their childhood with that RAD craziness in their house. You got to think from a parent's view, we know what's directed at us as parents. Those same things are directed at their siblings as well, but in a different way. As a peer, they're oftentimes being blamed for things that they did not do. They're being lied on. The RAD is stealing from them, stealing from other kids in school, bring it home. It's in your house. Guess who's getting blamed for it? So they're getting blamed for things that they did not do. I'm guilty of that. I hate to say it, but before we had a diagnosis, I can think back to a few times where my biological children had gotten in trouble and grounded for things that they did not do, and they swore they didn't do them. But I believed the RAD. I believed the RAD lie. I feel bad about it now. Like I said, I wish I could go back in time, but I can't. But I can tell you, I can warn you, they need a safe place. They need a safe home to grow up in as well. So make sure and spend extra time with them. Make sure that they know they can come to you and talk to you, and you will believe them. We know how it feels when we're lied about and no one believes us. They need that. They need that from their parents at this young age. They need you. That old saying, the squeaky wheel is the one that gets greased. The other wheels in the house that aren't squeaking, they need to be greased once in a while as well. And just because they're not squeaking doesn't mean that they don't need it. Take time with your children that are not RAD. Take time with them. Spend special time with them. Offer them an outside person as well, whether that be one of your friends, an adult, or a family member. A safe place that they feel that they can go and they can talk openly and be believed. Because as we know, a lot of these things we can't talk about. There are RAD groups on Facebook that are private and closed because we just can't talk about those things in front of people that don't know about RAD. They would never understand. They will not understand those things. And honestly, if they read half those stories, they would have nightmares. They would be shocked. And these are traumatic experiences for our non-RAD children as well. They need to feel safe and cared about. That those things matter to you, they matter to me too. So just don't forget those other children. Like I said, my biological children moved out at a very young age. I think my son was 13, and my daughter got married to her first serious boyfriend just to move out, and she told us that that's why. Those last of the childhood years were stolen from them, and that's permanently in their memories. So keep that in mind with your other children in the house that are living with RAD, that are not RAD themselves. I guess just make sure and make time for them and spend time with them so that they know that you care about that. So anyway, I hope this video helps in some small way. These are probably things that you guys already know, but like I said, if I could go back in time, or even now that I think of it, if somebody had told me, I don't think I was paying attention, honestly, because I was so wrapped up in the chaos. My mind could only focus on a little bit at a time. And I wish that I had put my focus where it really counted. Maybe if I share this with you, you'll stop and look and see if your focus is being put in the right areas. And anyway, hope you guys are having a great day. I hope your week will go smoothly. I'll be praying for you, and thank you for joining me in this video. I hope to see you again. So until then, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.